how to give feedback on a Schoology assessment question. Let's dive in. When setting up a Schoology assessment, you'll see a section titled Student Settings. Under Student Settings, you have an option to allow students to view results after an attempt is submitted. You have 3 choices: no, yes, and yes with correct answers. While students are taking and submitting the assessment, it is probably a best practice to select no. After students have completely submitted the assessment, you've graded it and provided feedback, you can go back and change the setting to yes. At that time, the feedback will be viewable to the student when they re-enter the assessment and click View next to their submission. You've changed the setting and now it is viewable by all students. Next, let's look at how to provide feedback on a question. To create, edit, and grade a Schoology assessment, you would access your Schoology course page from Safari or Chrome web browser. Within your course page, navigate and find your assessment. Click on the assessment and open it to the Grading tab, where you will see submissions organized by question or by student. You can go through the submissions either way. We're going to look at by question. If you click on a specific question, it is going to open up the submissions by student. Some of these questions need grading because they're educator graded question types, and one is auto graded. When I open a question, I'll see each student response listed separately. This is an educator graded question as it's an audio response and it has an attached rubric. I can click on the rubric icon, and from within the rubric, I can add the rubric grades to each category, and I can provide text feedback specifically to the criteria in the rubric. When I have done that, then I am ready to click Save. Once I have clicked Save, the grade is entered, but I still have an Add Feedback button underneath the grade. Here is where I can add text or image feedback. I can have images or stickers pre-prepared for feedback within my photos or on my desktop. I can click on Audio. From this audio button, when I click Record, if it's the first time, I can click Allow for Safari and Schoology to use my microphone, and I can record feedback. I can see that my feedback is taking because I can see the volume controls. If I'm satisfied, I click Save. You'll note that my feedback is added in a blue box underneath, and I have icons to edit or delete. Let's say I decide I want to add a video as well. I can click Record, allow the camera to use and be accessed. I can record my video feedback, and when I am done recording, I can click Stop and Save. So now I'm going to have more than one piece of feedback to this question. Both pieces will show up in a blue box underneath the question for that student. When I am ready to move between questions, I can see the full question, go back to all the other questions, or click Next to toggle to the next question. I have the same ability here with a video response question to add in a grade and to add feedback. And I can continue this process for each question. But let's say I've noticed, oh, I added feedback, but there's nothing there. Maybe I clicked Save and I didn't mean to, and I didn't want to add feedback there. I can delete it, and it will not be viewable to the student. Then I click Next when I'm ready to move forward. This is an auto graded question with audio feedback and video feedback added. I can see the grade already and add the feedback when I'm ready to do so. So you may wonder, what does the learner see? Let's check it out. From the learner's view, they can access their feedback from the app, from Chrome or Safari. Here you can see I have a submitted assessment, and I click View on that submission. I can scroll through and I can look at my score. I can see my grade at the top. I can see the auto-graded section, and then my feedback from my educator appears in a blue box. Depending on what kind of feedback has been provided, you'll see audio player, video player, you'll see a text box with an image, and they can listen to that, and they can continue to scroll through their feedback, access all parts of their submission, as well as view any rubrics that have been attached with any feedback attached to the rubric as well, just by tapping on the icon. So this process could become tedious if you chose to add feedback to every single question in an assessment for every single student. So when should you use this? Suggestions as to when to use this would be maybe formative assessments. Maybe you're spot checking and you only want to look at certain questions that might represent a knowledge gap for a specific class. Maybe you've added a rubric and you want to flesh out more of a full or rich picture of feedback for the students. Maybe you only provide this kind of feedback for educator graded questions in an assessment rather than auto graded questions. Maybe you're using the assessment now for formative assessment rather than a summative piece. And so it's collecting data and it's more of a progress monitoring or a progress check. Maybe you're using the assessment as a way to collect all pieces of a project and you add a reflection question at the end where you would add audio or video feedback. There are lots of different ways to use this feature, and we would love to hear the different ideas and strategies that you choose to employ in your classroom as you dive into Schoology assessment feedback.